You're listening to Cowboy Logic with Jason Forby, a message of grace and hope.
Is everybody good? I'm going to read you some stuff here this morning. I even got some objective. I don't always even have that, but I don't want to just be part of the mob. I want what I've heard about him to produce something in me that would make a way for me to touch him in a way that my needs are met. And I'm not saying that in like a self-centered, selfish way where I'm just in this deal to get my needs met. But my goodness, if it's his heart's desire for people to be healed, and there's lots of people bumping up against him and not getting healed, come on, that tells me that it's not all on his side of the thing. She reached out and touched him in faith where other people were touching him, and she got something not everybody else got. That's what I want. That's who I want to be. And so I thought, man, it's a big deal what you've heard about him, because that's producing in your life. What you've heard about him is having an impact on the way that you've touched him. And the way that you've touched him, whether you just bump into him, not receive much, or you've reached out and got a hold of life, and your whole life is changed and transformed. So it's like, okay, so what have we heard about him? If you've been in church much, you've heard all kinds of stuff about him. I don't know who's watching. I better be careful, but I'll say we've heard a whole bunch of stuff that's just plain old wrong. I'm just talking about me. I don't know about you, but I've thought a lot of stuff. I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just saying there's a lot of ideas that I had about who God was and what God was like that are so totally far from the truth that it's not even in the same building, right? And so we're just on this journey. Okay, if what I hear about you is producing the kind of life that I'm experiencing, then I just want to hear the truth about who you are. I just want to know you. I want to know who you really are and what you're really like. And we've proved over and over in this deal. I'm not going to review the whole deal, but we've seen that the way to know what God is like is to look at Jesus. Who did Jesus reveal God to be? Jesus came to reveal who God is, right? Last week was Easter. We said the purpose for Jesus to come was to change our minds about God, not to change God's minds about us. So he's revealing who God really is and what God's really like. And so let's go back and look at it through fresh, hungry eyes to say, show us who you are, right? Show us who you are. So that's where we're at. Now I want to just read you a little bit of stuff. This is going to help somebody today. A familiar passage is Matthew 11. And I'll read it in the Good News translation first. It says this. This is Jesus speaking, all right? Come to me, all of you who are tired from carrying heavy loads, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke and put it on you, and learn from me, because I am gentle and humble in spirit, and you will find rest. For the yoke I will give you is easy, and the load I will put on you is light. You got it? Now we got to keep on thinking this. We got to keep on thinking, okay, Jesus is revealing to us what God is like. Jesus is God. So you can't have a view of, okay, God the Father's one way, and then Jesus is contrary to that, and you got two different ideas, double-minded about who God's like. So if it says this, Jesus is saying, come unto me, all of you who are tired from carrying heavy loads, and I'll give you rest. If that's Jesus, then you could also say that God is about the business of providing you rest. Come on, religion said, you got to work for God. You ain't doing enough. Yeah, I'm just God's servant. Well, God ain't in the deal of looking for servants. God's in the deal looking for family. Sons and daughters. I'm no longer calling you servants. I'm calling you friends, right? It's just Jesus. All right. Take my yoke and put it on you and learn from me, because I am gentle. Well, if Jesus is gentle, then you could say God's gentle. Totally contrary to the way I grew up thinking about God. Huh? Because I am gentle and humble in spirit, and you will find rest. For the yoke I will give you is easy, and the load I will put on you is light. Let's read this thing here in the... Listen to this. This is so good. This is the Message translation, the Message Bible, all right? Matthew 11:25, this one starts in. Abruptly, Jesus broke into prayer. Abruptly, Jesus broke into prayer. Thank you, Father, Lord of heaven and earth. You've concealed your ways from the sophisticates and know-it-alls, but spelled them out clearly to ordinary people. Yes, Father, that's the way you like to work. Jesus resumed talking to the people, but now tenderly. I don't know, it doesn't say. Maybe he wasn't so tenderly before. I don't know. Maybe he's aggravated. I don't know. Jesus resumed talking to the people, but now tenderly. The Father has given me all these things to do and say. This is a unique father-son operation coming out of father and son intimacies and knowledge. No one knows the Son the way the Father does, nor the Father the way the Son does. But I'm not keeping it to myself. I'm ready to go over it line by line with anyone willing to listen. Are you tired? Worn out? Burned out on religion? Come on, it's in your Bible. I'm reading the Bible. This is Jesus. Are you tired? Worn out? Burned out on religion? Come to me. Get away with me, and you'll recover your life. I'll show you how to take a real rest. Walk with me and work with me. Watch how I do it. Learn the unforced rhythms of grace. I won't lay anything heavy or ill-fitting on you. Keep company with me, and you'll learn to live freely and lightly. Man, is that good or what? I better read it one more time. Father has given me all these things to do and say. This is a unique father-son operation, a father-son operation, coming out of father and son intimacies and knowledge. No one knows the Son the way the Father does, nor the Father the way the Son does. But I'm not keeping it to myself. I'm ready to go over it line by line with anyone willing to listen. What is he getting at here? It's the will of God for us to have this father-son intimacy. This operation is a family business. It's co-laboring with God. Come on, you got it? And Jesus is saying, look, this thing that I have with the Father, I'm not keeping that to myself. It's my intentions that you have this same thing with you and the Father as I have. I'll go over it line by line with you if that's what it takes. It's my objective that you have the same thing going with Father that I have going with Father. It's my intentions that you realize you're no longer a slave, you're no longer a servant, you're a son. And that's not, that's position. It's ladies too. You got it? If he says son, it's not just the guys. It's all of us. Sons. You got it? It's a relationship. It's a place. All right? But I'm not keeping it to myself. I'm ready to go over it line by line with anyone willing to listen. What is our whole objective on this whole thing we've been talking about? I want to hear, because what we've heard about him is having an impact. So I want to hear. And Jesus is saying, for anyone willing to listen, I will go over it line by line if that's what it takes, until you have this same relationship with God. Man, is that something? Are you tired, worn out, burned out on religion? Come to me, get away with me, and you'll recover your life. I'll show you how to take a real rest. Walk with me and work with me. Watch how I do it. Learn the unforced rhythms of grace. I won't lay anything heavy or ill-fitting on you. Keep company with me, and you'll learn to live freely and lightly. Oh, man. Jesus is surrounded here by Pharisees and Sadducees, and at this time, as much of a religious group of people as ever existed. You got it? Pharisees, the religious bunch, the ones trying their best to keep the law, right? That's who he's not sitting here having a conversation with ditch diggers and hay haulers. He's not saying, hey, you guys been hauling hay all day? Tired? No. He ain't talking about that. He's talking about people that have dedicated every ounce of energy that they have trying to be something, trying to become something, trying to uphold something, trying to, jump through all the religious hoops, keep all the religious rules. This is the people that he's talking to. Are you tired? Come on, I know something major, transformative happened in my life, like when I was probably 30 years old. You've heard me talk about it all the time. I'd be in my driveway, and I would say, if I had to describe in one word where I was, one word, I would say the best word would be tired. Anybody ever been tired? I don't mean like the kind of tired from hauling hay. I don't mean the kind of tired where 8 hours or so of sleep is going to cure you. There's a different kind of tired. There's a different kind of tired. I mean the kind of tired that any amount of sleep ain't going to cure it. Wore out. It's waking up every day trying to convince yourself that you somehow got to survive another day, trying to accomplish something that's impossible, and convince yourself to keep on trying, knowing that there's no possible way to accomplish it. I'm talking about waking up in the morning trying to be something that you can know that there's no possible way for you to come up with it or be it on your own, or face impossible situations, or be faced with more questions than you can even ask with no answers. I'm talking about tired. The type of pressure, the type of, come on, you guys know what I'm talking? I'm not the only one that's been tired, right? To not have any answers. To seem like, man, there's no hope, or come on, you got what I'm saying about. That's the people that Jesus is staring in the face. Those of you that have done everything you can possibly do to try to come up with the answer to this thing, and you still don't have. And so I'm saying this is kind of the place that I was in the driveway, to say, you know what? If this is what it is, I was born in church. I went to church every time the doors opened. Come on, some of you here. I wasn't just going to church trying to figure out a way to be a hypocrite. I actually wanted to be a good Christian. I wanted to be pleasing to God. Come on, I didn't want to be a disappointment. I wanted to pray more. I wanted to read my Bible more. I wanted to be what it is that they said I was supposed to be. I really did. And you guys know, it doesn't matter. You can dig deep enough and find somewhere where you're not cutting it. Come on, we can dig deep enough. You'll find someplace you're falling short. And so it's like, that's the place that's going to be thrown up in your face all the time. And so you're just left with this thing of, I guess I'll just go to church. I guess I'll just do everything in my best that they say to do. And it's like, none of that seems to be working, because all I have is a condemned heart full of guilt and shame, and an identity that's based on, you're not good enough. You'll never be good enough. You're just a failure. You're a no good sinner. You're just a dog. Come on, anybody heard any of this stuff? And so that's the place you're living in, and then you're trying to go be successful, and you're trying to go be an overcomer in life, and you're trying to go, love your neighbor. Well, how the heck am I supposed to love my neighbor if I hate myself? This is the kind of desperation and tired that I'm talking about. Anybody ever been there? It's a terrible place to be, but it's a wonderful place to be. Because only until you get to this place do you get desperate enough there where I was in my driveway to say, you know what? I've done everything that I know to do. I've literally tried my hardest. I really had a desire to be everything you wanted to be, but all I end up is being a failure. And so, I'm just as broke as somebody who can't spell God. I'm just as sick. I'm just as defeated. I'm just as depressed. I'm just as divorced. I'm just as sick as somebody that don't even give a flip. What the heck? I said, all right, if this is what it is, I'm out. I'm done. I'm not saying get sassy with God, but this is where I was. When you're tired enough, your filter's gone. And I said, you know what, if this is what it is, you know that I need you, you know that I believe in you. But if this is it, I'm done. I'm out. I'm done with this. Doesn't work. It's not working. And the God that I thought I knew at the time would have rolled his eyes at me and say, well, forget you then. Instead, I was met with this. Oh, tired, are you? Tired? Wore out? Burned out on religion? Ready to finally give up on yourself and your own efforts and your own religiousness and your own abilities and your own capabilities and everything that you think you can try to do? Oh, you think you can pray enough? You think you can memorize enough scriptures? You think you can go to church enough? Yeah, keep trying that deal. You'll get burned out. You'll get wore out. You'll get so tired. Instead of an eye roll, I got this. All right. Come to me, and you'll find real rest. You'll find rest. I'm not talking about 8 hours of sleep, you feel a little better. I'm talking about real rest, like the peace of God will move into your life. And it's life-changing. I'm just telling you, it's the deal. It's to me, one of the greatest benefits of the new covenant. We talk about the new covenant all the time, right? One of the greatest benefits of the new covenant to me. Rest. I no longer have to work to be pleasing to God. I no longer have to earn His approval. I no longer have to do certain things and jump through certain hoops in order to be accepted by Him. He's proud, Papa, if I never do any of it. I remember when there's hard decisions in my life, I'm thinking, oh man, this is what I think God's wanting me to do, and man, that seems hard, or I don't know if I'll be able, I don't think I'm capable of doing this. You know what the answer is? Religion will put pressure on you. You know what the Father says? You decide, son. If you want to do it, great, I'll be with you. If you don't, great, I'll be with you. I will never be disappointed. Whatever you set your hand to, I'll be in it with you. And we will be successful if you'll rest. Man, oh man. Okay, I don't want you to just take my word for it. Let's look a little more. Listen to this. You've probably heard this story, but this is John 11. John 11, the Passion Translation. And so 11:17. Now when they arrived at Bethany, which was only about 2 miles from Jerusalem, this is a lot of reading. Let me paraphrase the story. You guys know this story anyway, right? Jesus got some friends. Lazarus, you remember Lazarus gets raised from the dead later on. So Lazarus got 2 sisters, Mary and Martha. So Jesus coming to town. That's a big deal. Jesus coming to our house, right? And then he's got an entourage with him. So here comes Jesus. He shows up. He sits down and he's telling stories and teaching and all of this. And Mary, one of the sisters, is just sitting at Jesus' feet, hanging on every word. You know, it's like soaking up everything she can get from Jesus, just enamored by Jesus. And then there's Martha. Martha's like, oh gosh, all these people at my house. Thank God for Martha. Martha's getting snacks and she's cleaning. She's doing all the stuff. She's just busy. Oh, everything's got to be perfect. Got to do all this. And finally, something happens where Martha realizes this is too much and she can't keep up with it all. And all of a sudden, she probably is frustrated, which is born out of, I'm tired. And she's finally to the place where her filters broke. She comes to Jesus himself and says, Lord, don't you care? I'm working in here like a slave and Mary is sitting in here doing nothing. Right? And Jesus, he says, Martha, Martha. One translation says, Martha, my beloved Martha. Mary has chosen the good part. Like she thought Mary should be working. Martha was working. Jesus said, Mary's the one that got it right. Later on, John 11, this is where Lazarus has died. You guys remember the story? Same Lazarus, Mary and Martha. They're close with Jesus. They're like family friends. They've known Jesus. They're beloved family, right? And so they sent word, you remember? Send word to Jesus, Lazarus is sick. And Jesus don't show up right away, right? Like waits 4 days and before he comes in there. Jesus says, okay, let's go now. So 4 days later, he's going. Bethany's where Lazarus lives. And so they show up to Bethany, and Jesus kind of staying on the outskirts of town, because I imagine Lazarus is kind of a prominent guy in the town and well known. And so Lazarus is dead. There's mourners, there's funerals, there's all these people gathered around, and so that's the situation. So Jesus don't just go right in the house this time. He's staying out on the edge of town, and so this is where the deal is. He says, now when they arrived at Bethany, which was only about 2 miles from Jerusalem, Jesus found that Lazarus had already been in the tomb 4 days. Many friends of Mary and Martha had come from the region to console them over the loss of their brother. And when Martha heard, Martha, when Martha heard that Jesus was approaching the village, she went out to meet him. But Mary stayed in the house. Martha said to Jesus, "My Lord, if only you had come sooner, my brother wouldn't have died. If you'd only been here, my brother would not have died," right? "But I know that if you were to ask God for anything, he would do it for you." Jesus told her, "Your brother will rise and live." All right? She replied, "Yes, I know he will rise with everyone else on resurrection day." "Martha," Jesus said, "you don't have to wait until then. I am the resurrection, and I am life eternal. Anyone who clings to me in faith, even if he dies, he will live forever. And the one who lives by believing in me will never die. Do you believe this?" Then Martha replied, "Yes, Lord, I do. I've always believed that you are the Anointed One, the Son of God, who has come into the world for us." Then she left and hurried off to her sister Mary and called her aside from all the mourners and whispered to her. Martha goes back, and now she's whispering to Mary, right? She says, "The Master is here, and he's asking for you." So when Mary heard this, she quickly went off to find him, for Jesus was lingering outside the village at the same spot where Martha met him. Now when Mary's friends who were comforting her noticed how quickly she ran out of the house, they followed her, assuming she was going to the tomb of her brother to mourn. When Mary finally found Jesus outside the village, she fell at his feet in tears and said, "Lord, if only you had been here, my brother would not have died." When Jesus looked at Mary and saw her weeping at his feet and all her friends who were with her grieving, he shuddered with emotion and was deeply moved with tenderness and compassion. Now, I thought it was interesting. It's in there on purpose. Martha runs out to meet Jesus. "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died." And they have somewhat of a theological discussion, not leading to very much. Mary hears that Jesus is asking for her. She runs out to find Jesus, finds Jesus, and it's exactly recorded, word for word, exactly. She says exactly the same thing to Jesus. "Lord, if you'd have been here, my brother would not have died." Exact same statement, exact same words coming from the heart of someone who's work, busy, theological debates. Nothing. But Mary, the one who rested, the one who sat at his feet, the one who understood that it's about being at rest and hanging on every word, and the one that's resting comes and says the exact same statement that the other sister said. And it moves Jesus to tears. Shuddered with emotion, and compassion shows up, and then Jesus raises her brother from the dead. So I'm just saying that as, look, I hear the deal. They're going to say, all the Marthas are going to say, "Well, somebody's got to do the work. We can't all just sit around and do nothing. And it's not all about grace, brother. It's there's got to be people doing the work, right? You know, I hear that. And so there is stuff to do, right? That's a Martha. But when it came down to actually producing the kingdom of God in the earth, when it actually came to raising a dead man to life who's been dead 4 days, Who got it done? The one who knew rest. Rest will produce more than working if you're working religiously. Work was in the deal. Did you hear Jesus say, put my yoke upon you? Work with me. Because he's the one doing the work. You know what a yoke is, right? Like, I'm a horse guy. You seen these harnesses or work horses, and they got the harness on, and they're pulling stuff, or a yoke of oxen, and they're pulling plows, or pulling logs, or pulling wagons, or whatever, and there'll be a team of horses, and they're wearing these collars and all that, right? That's what he's calling a yoke. It's that thing that goes around them that they pull the loads with. That's why he's saying, are you tired? Tired of carrying a load that you can't carry? Trying to pull a load that you can't even get it to move? Put my yoke on you, because when you get harnessed up with me, I'm going to be the one pulling the load, and you're just beside me looking like you got something on, and the whole thing's moving, and you ain't even producing nothing. Martha over there all harnessed up, not moving at all. Come on, you guys got it? I'm not saying there's no work that don't get done. I'm saying the work gets done, but now all of a sudden the work's getting done without any effort from you. Listen, I know what I'm talking about. I tried my hardest to be a good guy. I tried my hardest to be a good Christian that would do all the things that would be pleasing to the Father. I tried real hard to love people. Have you met people? I mean, I'd try hard for a little while, but then they'd just be too much people and going on, and No, not y'all, huh? But in that religious thing, it's like, it's almost a threat. Well, you got to love your neighbor. You got to love the unlovable, and I'm trying to figure that out. And then I can even love my neighbor a little bit because I don't have to interact with him. But what about my family? We better leave that alone, sorry. Come on, I got the right bunch, huh? I'm just telling you, whenever it was up to my religious efforts to try to do everything that was supposed to be done, to look like a certain way and act like a certain way, behave a certain way, and do all these certain things, and you drive yourself crazy, and you'll wear yourself out, and you will always come to the end of your abilities, and you'll think, gee, me, Lord have mercy. But whenever you give up on all that, whenever I gave up on all that, it's like I don't even try anymore. I'm not working at it anymore. I give up. I'm just going to rest. And now that I'm in the place of rest and I understand in a restful place, I can actually see who God really is. And in that place, I'm transformed. And now everything that I was trying to do with my effort automatically happens now as fruit. Fruit's better than labor. I mean, I could spend a lot of time. We could go through the whole thing and just show you over and over and over about the power of somebody that's actually seated. Seated in the Bible means a place of rest. Y'all are sitting. I'm working. Y'all are sitting. I'm standing. Y'all seated is a place of rest, right? Jesus accomplished everything that there is to accomplish, and now he's seated at the right hand of the Father, right? I could show you where whenever he got ready to feed the 5,000, remember, they didn't have any food and all that stuff. He said, have everybody sit down. And when they sat down, they received a miracle. I even seen the blind guy. Remember that? He was blind, got healed. Bartimaeus, remember that guy? It said he was seated at the side of the road, hollering, I heard Jesus is coming by. Son of David, have mercy on me. Seated. One of my favorites, he makes me lie down in green pastures. I'm just telling you, there's something about being in the posture of I am at rest. I am at peace in this thing. If the work's going to get done, it's going to be His capabilities to produce it. It's going to be all his effort that he already accomplished, everything that I had been trying to accomplish, everything that religious people are wearing themselves out trying to accomplish has already been accomplished. No wonder we're crazy. I'm a cow guy. Grass is a pretty important deal to me, right? I'm thinking, he makes me lie down in green pastures. What in the world? Now, I've been over where David was when he wrote this thing, and there ain't many green pastures. It's desert and rock. not a whole lot of green. And I'm thinking, if you're leading a bunch of sheep and you're out there in the desert and the rocks and you find a green pasture, they ain't going to be laying down. They're going to be eating. Here's what I learned about being in livestock and grass. If your livestock is in green pastures and they're laying down, you know why? It's because they're full. And they're no longer hungry, and they are satisfied, and all of their needs have been met, and they're just being sheep with a good shepherd, and I have no needs, and I'm just going to lay right down here and rest. Oh man, I'm just telling you this, so I thought we could get to this point right here. I don't know if y'all have surely been tired at one point or another, and I mean this kind of tired, or maybe you're tired now. Maybe you've never been tired and tired's coming. I don't know. I hope not. But I thought we could just take a minute to just say, whoa, I didn't even realize this was going on. And so just this morning we can take a big old breath.
Please follow and share this message. And for more information, visit srcowboychurch.com.